You are now tuned in to ExCons4Trump on Intellectual Radio. I'm Tyrone Muhammad. It's now, 9:05 or so? And this is ExCons4Trump on IntellectualRadio.com. Go directly to IntellectualRadio.com and tune in for you looking on Facebook Live and y'all on IntellectualRadio.com. Tune in. This is ExCons4Trump, where we have declared there's no other party, but there's only two parties. And since there's only two parties, we know specifically, at least we do here in Chicago, that Trump don't live here. This is not Trump community. This is not Trump town. This is not Trump state. This is a Democratic-led state. It's not about Democrats. It's not about Republicans. I told y'all before, for you that don't understand, because I really want to have a conversation tonight with the listening audience. 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. We got to have a conversation today. I want to be able to talk to you about why you think Kamala Harris is the best choice for our community and our people. And I want to tell you why I think fighting in opposition to just agitating and fighting in opposition to the current Democratic rule administration is actually the best policy. I think that's the best way to go. That is the way to push these parties to understand that they don't have a monopoly on the black vote. That's it. And also, you have a right to choice to vote how you feel. That's a democracy. You also have, without getting upset with nobody else. I'm not asking you to understand fully what it is that we're doing over here. I'm only saying to you all that if you never push against them, if the current people, the current party, the current demonstration that's happening in our communities with all of these groups, if we don't push against them, then what do we have? What do we have except the same old thing? So I'm declaring and I'm openly saying, unless another party come forth that has any viability, like independent, Green Party, or liberal, a libertarian, I haven't seen that happen right now. So Donald Trump, since you're the only choice that can actually beat the current Democratic militia, then that's what we're going with. Because it's unfortunate that our communities are suffering the way that they're suffering, that our women and children are terrorized, victimized, and ostracized in these communities. And it's like, I'm riding down Chicago at the Chicago streets. And yeah, I'm riding down the Chicago streets, right? Let me set that. And what I'm finding is all these blink signs saying the future is built in Chicago. We got all these so-called black leaders is on these, the future is built in Chicago. They're actively um um propagating and proselytizing about the future of Chicago, as though the future of Chicago includes us. We watched for a whole, how long has it been, y'all? Tell me. Somebody let me know. How long has it been now since the migrants issue in Chicago? Over a year now? Because clearly they building the future for somebody else that don't include you. You're not Chicago. You are no longer Chicago, black people. You are not included in the mix, in the fray of what Chicago is and what Chicago is gonna look like in the future. Our bodies, our energies are being used as a tool right now to propagate everything but black. There's a guy named Horio, I think is he pronounced his name Funes Flores, right? He said, and I'm watching television today. I'm watching it, and he said that 40,000 women and children were murdered in Palestine and Gaza. Over 40,000. I'm watching the news. If they say 40,000 women and children were murdered and innocents were murdered, that means 100,000 probably was murdered because the media lies so much that we don't know what the truth is. So let's just say this. Let's say 50,000 women and children were murdered. How is it that that's not a topic of every conversation? 50,000 women and children being murdered. I'm talking about the Democratic Party. Let me tell y'all what he said about that. He said liberalism is the infrastructure of fascism and colonialism. He said liberalism is possessive individualism. He said it's whiteness, it's conquest, it's colonialism. He said liberalism is imperialism, fascism, and racism are deeply entangled in liberalism and fascism. He said that's why it's not surprising that liberals of all shades genocide in Gaza. I'm gonna read that again. Brother Furnez Flores said, liberalism is the infrastructure of fascism and colonialism and possessive individualism, whiteness, conquest, colonialism, imperialism, fascism, and racism are deeply entangled. He said that's why it's not surprising that liberals of all shades downplay the genocide in Gaza. It was reported today on the news that Israel killed more than 40,000 women and children in the Gaza dispute in Palestine. How is it possible for this many women and children to be murdered? Somebody tried to call me. How is it possible for this many women and children to be murdered in Palestine by Israel, and that's not a national outrage, a world outrage? How is that conflict? How do that conflict continue to exist? You know why it's so easy for liberals to watch murder happen in Gaza the way it's been happening with their backing and support? Because every year, Earl, is there a way we can Google how many black men and women get murdered in Chicago in the United States every year? I need to know how many black women and men are murdered and children are murdered in the United States every year, whether by our own hands or by the hand of police, or others. How many black people, and I'm talking black people, because that's what I'm saying about how it's easy for us to overlook death. Because in Chicago, women, over 250 children was murdered last year, and it made no noise, and there should have been nothing the mayor was talking about but public safety and how we need to protect our women and children. We spent half the year talking about migrants and funding for migrants, not to fix the disinvestment in the communities. 11,000 last in America, black, in Chicago or America, United States, over 11,000 murdered every year. That's in, and they saying already though 40,000 murdered. Man, how big is Gaza? I mean, that can't be that big. They pretty much doing ethnic cleansing. If that many people see, you know what? This type of stuff is not popular. And I'm gonna read it one more time because it's very serious. It's very serious. He said that liberalism is the infrastructure of fascism and colonialism, possessive individualism, whiteness, conquest, colonialism, imperialism, fascism, and racism are deeply entangled under the liberal banner. That's why it's not surprising that liberals of all shades downplay the genocides in Gaza. It's like I said, I'm gonna take it slow today, Earl. You don't see me speeding, you don't see me loud. I'm trying to, I got the passion, but I'm trying to educate us on something. Because how long have we been getting incarcerated in America with no real reformation for these Desmo Crypts they call prisons? How many households have been destroyed from the drugs, gangs, drugs, and violence that's within our that have ravaged our community under the Democratic leadership? How many? How many prisons have been built in the state of Illinois under Democratic leadership? Huh? How much disinvestment of businesses and slum lords buying homes and buildings and purchasing buildings and property in our communities that grandma and grandfather lost under the Democratic rule that put no real community benefit back into our neighborhoods and communities, but they buy the land, they rent the apartments. And then not only do they rent the apartment or rehab the apartment, they become slum lords after they come in our neighborhoods. Even the business look like slum lord businesses. Even the businesses look like slum lord run those businesses. How is that possible under Democratic leadership who claim to be so liberal and so pro people and pro freedom, yet it seemed like every community in America where black people occupy as are oppressed communities. We are oppressed communities. We have police states. And I'm only making a prelude when I say ex-cons for Trump. I know it seemed like Trump the only thing they fear. See, like Trump is like kryptonite to Democrats, man. You would think Trump created all the violence, all the disinvestment. You would think Trump name alone. We ride past downtown, see big old Trump everywhere. That got to be like, what the heck? This man got his name bigger than the city on Wacker Drive. This man's name is plastered. And they didn't even want him to have his own name on the building he a part of developing. Something wrong with that picture. They say we free, right? How is it that I can build a property and I got people protesting saying, don't put my name on what I build? Hey, man, the hypocrisy is at an all-time high. The hypocrisy is at an all-time high. And I got so much I want to talk to y'all about. I'm full and I'm going to keep it moving. But I would like to hear from anybody that'd like to call in and express themselves as well. That's 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. You can't say you're part of the solution if you never have a thought on it, on the issues. If you're never a part of any motivational movement or organized front to tackle, you never have a voice in anything. How can you ever say anything? We say stuff on the sideline out of emotions. And when you have a platform to speak, to give wisdom to the people, you should use it. So 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. Because believe me, I can talk about this stuff for 3 days straight and not get tired. It's so much information to talk about what we're going through in our neighborhoods that I never run out of information. I never run out of a topic, because for the last 7 years since God blessed me to come out of prison, I've been on the front line fighting for our community, doing the best I can, to be an adjutant, doing the best I can to be a washing machine, man, on these nasty clothes that has wrapped us in our communities, on these nasty political clothes that have enclosed us and wrapped us up in the policies and positions of Chicago and the country. This is a very sad time we living in. And it's unfortunate that if we don't figure out a way to push back against the established order of things, this is a new world order. You're not a part of it. Trust me. The new world order is now, and you're not a part of it. Look downtown. Look at how Democratic National Convention, look at how they done, how all the money is being spent to make it look good. I saw Earl on the expressway. They cleaned up all the homeless veterans and people that was living on the side of the expressway and put a big gate up and cleaned it up to get appearances that they taking care of those homeless people, that they removed them home. They didn't want the lie to be seen, that they moved all the homeless people off the expressway. Where did they put them, Earl? What did they put them babies? What did they put them? I mean, the women and children that was over there. I mean, the women and men that was over there on the side of the expressway. Cause a block down, they didn't use those buses. They didn't feed them down there. They didn't give them no bath. They weren't able to stay in the warming buses. They weren't able to get the same treatment that the migrants got with the buses that's coming in, that's checking the migrants in, the illegals in. I'm wondering, what did they do for appearance sake? They built those gates. Look at the money they spent to build that gate. I don't know if y'all been down there. What is the name of that strip right there? What is it called? Right on the side of the expressway on Roosevelt, y'all. It's Skid Row. Or I say Skid Row. I want to know, what is it called? It's a block. That's a block. Yeah, when you're going to the Roosevelt. What is that doggone strip called? I'm looking in the Facebook and see if anybody is saying the name of it. Tent City, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy, always. It's called Tent City. It's not Tent City no more. Drive by there, y'all. Look at the Displays. It's on Displays. That's where the migrants camp at, the new one. Displays in Tent City. They removed, bro, all of them people over there all these years, Earl. They could have just removed them and put them up. Man, how is that even acceptable? Look at the hypocrisy. If they lie to you in your face like that, if they would continue to do you like that, all the different areas of Chicago, what make you think they gonna tell the truth? What they gonna do anything different? Joe Biden been in office. Kamala Harris been there with him. How is she gonna do something different? He talked about Earl, her platform. What was her platform? Why they up in there? I mean, what is Kamala Harris? Can somebody tell me what's their platform now? He the president of the United States and she VP. What has she done already? Tell me that. Please, somebody tell me, what have Joe Biden done already? And she talking about a platform. Isn't her platform the same as Joe Biden's? Hasn't it been the same? How you got a different platform and you've been in office for 4 years? You should be good by now. If you have to put a new platform up for the trick the people to make you think, man, y'all know what, man? It's so easy. We could say anything to black people, man, and they gone, Earl. You can say anything to black people and they gonna believe it. I don't know, man. We are sick. We sick. We sick, boss. We sick. We sick. And then if somebody like myself and others say, we're gonna do something different. We the fools. We the idiots. We become the ones that everybody, you know what I'm saying, want to say we are the ones that's unconscious. No. We free. Because I don't care what you think about me. I don't care how you think about me. I don't care, because I'm free in my thoughts, my actions. And I think somebody got to step up and show dead thinking people how to think differently. I'm not asking nobody to change their party or nothing, but you got to make them know that you not just taking this hook, line, and sinker. You're not taking it hook, line, and sinker. You got to link it up. You got to link it up, man. You got to match the actions with the words. They got a whole sign going on, just the blink signs and all the billboards saying the future is built in Chicago. They said the future. Have anybody seen those signs? Have anybody out there seen those new signs they got up? The future is built in Chicago. And then they use black people that we know. They have usurped other black people to make them believe that they are a part of a system. As the boule, as my man called them, the boule class. These people are the ones who play in our face, and they are the ones who have the voice of the Democratic Party. And these ones are able to act like as though they're the ones who persuade, and they are the leaders of our thoughts. And they put them out front because they go along with the program. See, as long as you go along with the program, you're going to eat in this city. You go along with the program, you're going to eat in the city. That ain't no big deal. You either going to go along with the program and eat, or you're not going to go along with the program, you're going to starve, like most of our people in Chicago, right? They're starving, or you're going to create your own, and then it don't matter what they do or say because you're relatively free. There are people that are free in this city, for real, and they're not a part of the establishment. So 708, we're going to take a quick break. Come on back. I got a few more issues and things I want to lay out, but you're free to call at 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com, and this is ExCons4Trump.
Everything look better in black. 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 Everything look better in black.
Welcome back to IntellectualRadio.com. This is ExCons4Trump, ExCons4Trump on IntellectualRadio.com. For live call-ins, that's 708-223-8953. For live call-ins, that's 708-223-8953. Thank you for tuning in, and this is IntellectualRadio.com. Go IntellectualRadio.com. Is there a way to subscribe, Earl, to them? And subscribe and share. IntellectualRadio.com. If you haven't started that process to subscribe and got your subscription, please do so after the show or during the show. But please do so. This is a great platform, great network, and I want you to subscribe if you're listening to this show at this time. So, hard trials are necessary to establish truth. I often run, even with that statement, through our community. Is it just that we are just so used to trials that we overcome trials so much that we live in them? Like, it's like, do we live in our trials? Like, is there any time that we ever overcome the trials of disinvestments, the trials of discrimination, the trials of black self-hate, the trials of, you know, shall I say, liberalism times 10, brainwashedism? Do we ever overcome systemic issues that plague our communities, that plague our thought process? So many people ask me, man, why? Why? And I constantly explain to them, even with all of the maneuvers I make, Earl, to show that I'm about making sure black people have a better way. They can't get past a name. I'm showing them an example to say, hey, everybody going that way. Everybody been following this wrong road that has led nowhere for our communities. With all the black elected officials in this space, we not moving the needle. And you're not in the conversation, nor are you at the table. In fact, you're not eating at the table. In fact, you are the meal on the table. Say it again. Black people for every culture. I don't care if you're Arab. I don't care if you're Indian. I don't care if you're Jew. I don't care, and even for black bourgeoisie Negroes. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care if you're white. Black people are on the dinner table. Every year, specifically, every 2 years, every 4 years, for their vote. Y'all have become tools. If the black people do not vote for Democrats, they will not win. Yet they give you nothing back in return for your vote. How easy is that? If we have been loyal voters for 60 years or more, now it may be more than that, 100. How long have black people been voting for this current Democratic Party? Anybody out there that's smart? How long have black people been voting for the current Democratic Party and structure across the country? I know it's over 60 years. If they haven't given you nothing in return, why? Tell me, please, call in and tell me why we keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result when it's clear they have shown us that not only don't they have anything for you, you ain't getting no stipend, you're not getting no card. I don't know what that card they get in migrants with all the money on it. I don't even know what that's even called. Is it even legal? Is it a real bank card? What the hell is that thing? Because I've seen too many with too much money on it. I've seen too many. What is it called? Why women and children and why women and men can't pay their bills out here? You got women. That woman was crying. I was watching some YouTuber and she was crying, saying she had to sell her food truck. She worked so hard for so long to buy that food truck. And then she was crying because she said a migrant came up with the money and said he could buy the $25,000 truck today. They was going to help him buy a food truck. She said she couldn't even get a loan, Earl. She said she couldn't even get a loan to get, and she said she had great credit, black woman. She crying, saying, Kamala Harris, explain to me. She said, Kamala Harris, the current Kamala Harris now, not what she gonna do when she get in office. She said, explain to me, how is it okay for you to give our tax dollars to non-citizens while I'm sitting here struggling to keep my food truck, to keep everything, and can't get a loan? But they had a loan for the migrant to buy a food truck. Because when I go downtown, I see a lot of people with food trucks that don't look like me. I see a lot of food trucks that don't look like me. And the very nature of thing, right? I watch how everybody is able to get licensed to do this, to do that in this city, in Chicago. When a black man or black woman, I'm gonna just stick to when a black man, because since we supposed to are the most unemployed, we're at least to own businesses, try to open anything. Our own elected officials find a way to push back on us. I was able to open a business out north among my white brothers and sisters. Then I was able to open in our own disinvested communities. You would think, you see my current location, Earl of the Cafe. I went through the process through the city and all that to get licensed to open shop. You think the aldermen showed up for the ribbon cutting? No. They showed up for everything else, picnics, and I appreciate it. They showed up for everybody else, all the little stuff, the menial stuff that's all over, because those people, without saying their ethnicity, their sexual orientation, come together and force our elected officials to do their bidding. We won't come together and force them to do right by us, not even by changing our vote. If you ain't gonna change your vote, and let me tell y'all something, I'm not the one that believes that if you don't vote, you're not voting. That's your right. You know it's your right, Earl, not to vote at all. That is a choice. Non-vote is a choice. Some of y'all ain't gonna vote for Trump just to make a statement. Stay home. Now I'm gonna say it again. I'm doing voters registration drive right now for returning citizens. You got a husband, you got a man. I got somebody that's gonna come over there and register them to vote. We're doing a voters registration drive. You're gonna see more of that over the next 2 months in anticipation for stuff that's happening after these elections. This current presidential election is just that, current. It's gonna be ex-cons for aldermen. It's gonna be the ex-cons for state rep. It's gonna be the ex-cons for state senator. It's gonna be all type of. This is a brand now. It's gonna be ex-cons for this, ex-cons for that, ex-cons for women rights, ex-cons for children rights, ex-cons for, the rights for the people to live free and exist. So ex-cons now for Trump. You know why? Because there's only two viable parties. This two-party system got to be busted up. But I like Trump because Trump really say what he want to say. Trump really not a Republican. He ain't. The established Republicans hate him. They say he hijacked the party, Earl. How you do that? Somebody need to hijack them Democrats. But they can't, Earl. They too busy trying to play in the lines. They too busy trying to play in the lines. 708-223-8953 is the live call line. Earl, we got any questions? Can you even see any of those questions online? Because I think I got a few here I need to look at. You got any questions? She said, who said that? SC who? SC Red? Bread? Oh, B Red. Okay. What you got? Long SCB Red for that lady? Bring the truth? Oh, correctional officer for lockdown? What's up, brother correctional officer? It's unfortunate, even in the space of prisons and jails, Earl. I've been there. A lot of them officers working these jobs, they hate the way reformation is for those places that they have to secure these bodies of these young men in there that ultimately come back to society with worse off than when they went in. And that's my number one thing. Y'all know my constituents are ex-felons because they have no voice. That's the space I'm in. When I came home while I was in prison, I really saw no one who actively took on the mantle to speak for returning citizens. You see the mantle that they take for these migrants? God. I'm talking about even the ones coming home, Earl, that's been released from prisons. Murdering women and children. That's a lot of them hatching women and kids that's in our country right now. They right now, cartel type, hatching women and kids, live in our country right now. We got our own elected officials speaking for them, but won't speak for their own nephew, cousins, and boyfriends and they sneaky leaks that come home from prison looking for a new chance and an opportunity. Won't speak for them. When all the housing discrimination is stacked against them, with all the job and economic opportunities, loans, even transportation, a lot of times that's very difficult. And then on top of that, you spent 21 years like myself in the 9x12 cage and nobody even check you in for mental health. Huh? I got a little 10-pound puppy son, and he cream, and he weighed 10 pounds, 9 years, 8 years old, and he never been in a cage. He never been in a cage, or he don't know how to act in the cage. You couldn't put him in no cage. I had to get my emotional support pet service dog stuff so I don't have to put him in the bag. Oh, man. But human beings are in cages every day in this liberal city, in this liberal state, and they have no real reform initiatives. No prison reform initiatives, no housing initiatives, no workforce development initiatives to deal with those 18,000 homeless ex-cons in Chicago. Did you know that? 18,000 homeless ex-cons in Chicago, but we got money for migrants. We got money to house migrants. So when an ex-con rob you, Earl, hope that never happened to us. When he go in your home and home invade you, hope that never happened to us. That I'm talking to y'all out there too. You just don't point at him because people got to survive now. And you may not like it, but robbing is a business. Carjacking is a business. You may not like it. The objective is to put them out of business. See, if you put them out of business, you replace the gun with a job. You replace the gun with a hammer, Earl. You replace that business with a more lucrative, safer, and viable business that doesn't violate individuals or the tenets of society to be safe and live free. You replace it with something. But tell me, how do you replace 18 to 24 years old, over 70% unemployed, with migrants and think that that's going to solve the issues of society? How do you do that? How do y'all do that? We can't. We can't. We have to change parties. Or we got to let that party know that they're barking up the wrong tree and they're doing real bad. They're doing real bad by ignoring us. And they think that it may not even take, it may take another presidential election, even though I think Donald Trump is gonna win. And when the reason I think he's gonna win, Earl, is this. Hillary Clinton, to me, was probably one of the most qualified candidates as a white woman. I'm telling you, that white woman was more qualified than a lot of men. She was actually more qualified than Barack Obama. Do you hear? You know what I'm saying? As a legislator, she was a Senate. How long? She's been the wife of a president. She was the first lady. And she was a lawyer, right? So she's way more qualified. She was way more. Barack Obama hadn't even been in the Senate how long? A year? 2 years? At the most. So Senator Clinton has seen more action than him. She was way more qualified. Guess what white women didn't do? Guess what white women allowed to happen? They didn't even allow Hillary Clinton to make history. As a white woman, they didn't even vote for Hillary Clinton. But you mean to tell me that white women is going to let some kind of brown girl or colored girl, because I don't know what she is. I ain't seen her birth certificate. I don't know. We arguing if she black or is she white. Listen, we argue if she black or she Indian. Is she Jamaican? Bro, I ain't seen damn birth certificate. She could settle that, couldn't she? Couldn't she settle it, Earl, by showing the birth certificate? It say I'm a black woman from such and such. Maybe. How do they classify her? I think they classify her as an Indian American. I'm not sure. I would like to see a birth certificate so we can get this over with. Stop talking about color, because it ain't even about that, really. I know one thing that's not going to happen. While y'all sitting there, black women arguing about fighting with black men, but we divided. That's what they lying about. We divided on who we voting for. They want you to think she up in the polls. No, she not. They lying. They control the polls. You see how many people is divided over this woman on the internet and all through social media? How could you think she up in the poll? When all the white folk gonna line up with Trump, watch what I tell you. They had to get 98% of the vote, man, for them to beat Trump. The Democrats gonna have to get 98% of black votes. Or you think they got 98% of black votes? Nope. I know every 5 to 5 people, 2 is with Trump. That I know. And if they're not with Trump, they saying they're gonna vote the other way or they're gonna stay home. So if you stay home or if you don't vote, you still helping Trump. You still gonna help Trump. You say what you want to say. Or if you vote for another party that can't win, well, the Libertarian, Green Party, if it is one candidate, and the Independent. If you vote for any one of them, y'all still help Trump. Vote Independent. Y'all should go vote Independent. That'll work. Stay home, vote Independent, vote Green, vote Libertarian, vote Trump. But don't keep voting for this party. Don't keep doing it. You got to show them. Look at all the money that's spent on the DNC already. Have y'all seen the streets? They give the appearance as though this city is in order. This city is dead, man. Chicago is a dead city. Chicago is dying every day, and you're dying right with it. It is lawless. It is lawless. You know why it's lawless? Because the pastors and politicians are lawless. They don't follow rules. They invite politicians to the church. It's supposed to be a separation of church and state. How do we believe that it's thus said the Lord when the pastors is saying thus said the mayor? The pastor said thus said the state's attorney. A senator. The pastor is saying thus said the governor. The pastor is saying thus said the president. The pastor is a money changer. The pastor in your church that you follow, that usher tell you to go to church, is a money changer. Earl, aren't those Divine Nine, the AKAs, Deltas, and Sigma Phi, the whatever sorority, Beta, Delta, aren't they 501c3 organizations? How the hell they always in politics? I thought 501c3s don't supposed to be operating like that. See how all of these so-called intellectuals and boulets practice hypocrisy? Then they'll talk about the laws that Trump broke. Man, these people break rules every day. They talk about him being a criminal. Trump, the same man that didn't even told them don't arrest Clinton, stop investigating her. Trump did that. Said how it look for a president wife, ex-president wife, to be ushered in to the courthouse. Trump stopped the investigation. They forget that part because he didn't want that to be a set of precedent. Man, these same snitching Democrats, these same liars and thieves, it's chasing him. How many counts he had? 34? 34 counts. And then guess what they say about him? Let me see what time we got. How much time I got, Earl? 10 minutes. Let me say what they do to him. Because I got to get back to Kamala. Let me say this. Let me get back to that because I went off track. But I'm coming back to Trump and his 30-some counts, or whatever they was charging him with. Hillary, the most qualified white woman in America at the time, selected by the Democratic Party, lost to a biracial dude named Barack Obama. Here's another count, Earl, where they call Barack Obama black. First of all, let me say this to you all, skin color, judging people who think skin color represent skin folks, represent kin folks. Let me say something to y'all. Barack Obama is a biracial president. Wasn't a black president. If I was the white grandmama and grandfather who raised him, I would take offense to you calling him a black president. I would take offense, Earl. I would take offense. His African father didn't send him and make him no Rhodes Scholar, Earl. Them great benevolent white grandparents made him Barack Obama. His mama, who white woman, made him Barack Obama. His father, in fact, I don't even think he saw his father very much. If I was them white folks, I would take offense that a black president, Earl, would be Jesse Jackson. A black president would be Al Sharpton. I ain't saying they black now. I'm saying a black president would be Louis Farrakhan. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. A black president would be Carter G. Woodson. Marcus Garvey. No, he Jamaican, I think. I'm just only Malcolm X would have been a black president. Obama ain't wasn't the black president. Obama surely wasn't for us. He was no different than Kamala. You think I could just say something about black people and then say I can do something for black? Man, we the most disinvested. We hurting more than anybody and any people. And on top of that, we built this country. We built this country, man. We built Washington. Free slave labor. Ask Jefferson now. Ask him. Ask Thomas Jefferson. They would not vote for Hillary Clinton. You think them white women finna line up and vote for that colored girl? White women don't even line up for black women issues. Women live one for you, black women. Y'all lined up with that, but that didn't do nothing to destroy your household. That's all. Y'all didn't line, they ain't lined up with y'all. We got black women and mortality rates for our children, and infant mortality rates for black women is higher than any other gender. I mean, female gender. Higher. Women cancer issue, black women cancer issues. Heart attacks for black women, Earl, is higher than any other female. I don't see white women talking about the health and prosperity for black women. Wait, they always lining up with them to help their husbands. So white women are not going to vote for Kamala when it comes time to pull that lever. While y'all sitting around here thinking just for Donald Trump to get any parts of those white women to vote for him. She done. And the black men ain't voting for that brown skin neither. White men over Donald Trump. Y'all keep on being disillusioned about what time it is. It's going to almost take a miracle, Earl, for them to remove one president that's an incumbent and put a relatively newcomer, no political experience, up on the stage and to give her the whole world, Earl. When Trump been there already. We know Trump can talk to Putin. We know Trump can talk to North Korea. We know Trump don't mind dealing with strong men in this world. Man, you telling me that white men is going to accept that woman who they stole our votes. 2 million, what is it, 2 point something, 100 million or more votes, 300 million votes to vote for Joe Biden. And a few delegates decide that they're going to usurp the people's choice because he was old when they voted for him the first time. They're going to usurp the people's choice and give them Kamala. The people doesn't have a say-so in who Obama and them come, Hillary and them, all of them come, Nancy Pelosi and them come out of the woodworks and say, give us Kamala. We're going to select her. Although she hasn't been selected yet because I guess that's what they got to do at the Democratic National Convention, right? They got to declare. But we already know the fix is in. She's the presumptive, that's what they call it, presumptive nominee for the presidential candidacy. And they got a lot of different little mixes going on around here. And trust me, none of those programs is going to be talking about you and how the Democrats have violated you. All the people that's black that's throwing parties all over this city, they're not going to even mention the pressures and the pains that y'all are under. All these so-called black leaders that's in Chicago, they're having parties all over Chicago. They're not going to even talk about you and your issues. They're going to be busy drinking and whatever else they do. They're going to be busy drinking and hobnobbing while you're going to still suffer in the city. They're going to shut your streets down, your roads. They're going to inconvenience you for 3-4 days. And you're not going to be a topic of discussion. The mass murders in Chicago, the disinvestment in Chicago, the exploitation in Chicago, the lack of job opportunities in Chicago, the migrant crisis in Chicago, the houseless and homelessness issues in Chicago, the mass incarceration and returning citizens coming home every day to the worst communities in Chicago every day. Robberies, stick-ups, smash and grabs increasing every week. And Palestinians getting murdered and bombs dropped every day. Ukraine still fighting with our tax dollars. And Israel, the war on Palestine still going on every day with our tax dollars. Women and babies being murdered and buried alive with our tax dollars. They're not going to speak on none of that. Your elected officials. They mad at me. They mad at me because I'm saying something. Well, I got to talk to God. That's my issue. That's it. This is the Frontline Ty speaking about intellectual on IntellectualRadio.com. And you're listening to ExCons4Trump every week, Tuesday and Thursday. And we're going to run this horse and we're going to win this race. Thank y'all for tuning in. See you next Tuesday.